Okay, let me move on to the next scene because that's my other favorite scene from this
You really love this
episode.
episode.
And I think it's everyone's favorite scene from this episode.
Oh yeah,
Come
no,
on.
wait, no, this is a good. I just read the recap. Yeah, this is a good scene.
Yeah.
Go on.
Let's get into it, guys. Okay. I'm reviving a little bit. Hey guys, welcome to Two Girls, One BL podcast. I'm Amelia and this is Kels, two friends who love talking about BL so much we decided to make a whole show about it.
Whether you're new to BL or have been in the fandom for years, join us as we dive into our favourite BL books and series. Welcome to our episode discussion of Jack and Joker. Today we're going to be covering episodes 5 and 6, so let's get right into it. Okay, so the episode kicks off with Joke rocking up to Iran's suite, where Hope and his goons provide him with a very warm welcome, one that involves giving Joke a massive ass whooping. During the beatdown, Hope also finds Jack's ring on him, confirming his suspicions that Joke was involved in the heist. Hope, clearly a fan of dramatic reveals, calls up Jack to show him his bloody handwork. Hope then demands Jack figure out how to get the necklace back without Boss finding out it's gone. Joke, trying to play it cool despite looking like he's just been hit by a freight train, admits that the necklace was sold, and if they want it back, they're gonna have to team up. Joke then discovers that the necklace is about to be auctioned off at an ultra-exclusive event, and his genius plan is to get Iran to pose as a ridiculously rich Hong Kong billionaire to crash the party, flanked by Jack and Hope as his bodyguards. They all question why Joke can't be the one in disguise, and he tells them the guards at the auction place are some of his old buddies from his time in prison. Beatdown that Joke got was actually so intense.
It was rough.
It looked so brutal and very realistic. There was blood coming out of his mouth as he was keeled over, and the bottle hit was insane. I thought they were going to cut away from that, but you see the entire shot of him picking up the bottle and just smashing it over his head.
I'm surprised they went there.
I am as well.
It was violent.
Yeah, it was very violent.
It takes a lot of effort, I think, from a set design perspective for them to actually make a scene like that happen.
But it looked so real, though. It
looked real. It looked
real.
Scary. Yeah, it just felt like, oh.
Yeah, oh. I felt that hit. And Joke's comment about Hoy and Tattoo not being fit to play wealthy billionaires. Sick jab.
Yeah, because they don't look it. To be honest, I feel like Tattoo could pull it off.
Oh, really? Why?
I can imagine him in those weird coloured sunglasses and a giant fur coat. I feel like he could pull it off. I can just see it in my head now.
I can't at all. I agree with Joke on that.
I thought that it was kind of silly unless it was intentional, silly for Joke to walk into this situation kind of knowing what he's getting into, but also bringing the ring with him.
Do you think that was his plan, though? Or do you just think he forgot that he had the ring on him? Because I feel like that it was not something he would do at all. He's too smart for that.
I think they missed a scene giving some context as to how Joke ended up at the hotel, because he got a call. I mean, I'm assuming that they found the group chat from the previous episode and got in touch with Joke and asked him to come over to the hotel, right?
So you mean that scene of him being on the phone with them?
Yeah, but he was outside the hotel at that point, so I don't think that's the case. I just think that there's a bit missing there. Oh, do you think it was the text that they sent into the group chat that was in Thai and wasn't translated in the previous episode?
Another one of those instances where they're not translating on screen text.
It could have been that, and that's why we're so confused, because we didn't get that context.
There's been so many instances of that happening. I don't know why, but it makes me irrationally angry.
Yeah, it's so important.
I'm surprised that I haven't seen more commentary from people talking about sort of, oh, this is not an accurate translation. I don't think I've seen anyone mention them not translating on-screen text at all. No one at all.
We can't be the only ones struggling with this.
I can't believe that I've resorted to Google lensing.
I've been doing that, and it has not been going well for me.
Thai to English is probably some of the worst Google Translate comes up with. It's some of the worst translations I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not the easiest language to translate.
No, it's horrible. And yeah, I don't know why they're not doing it. It's actually very irritating.
The heist
Oh,
planning
yes.
thing. So when they go from smacking Joke over the head with a glass bottle and then the scene changes
Let's work together.
and then now they're collaborating and doing a group brainstorm. And the one at the head of the table is the dude that they just smashed on the head.
Yeah, he's literally still got blood on his face, and they're just like planning a heist together.
And they're all listening to him. Like, I get it. He's the only one that knows how to get the necklace back. But the dynamics changed way too quickly for me to be able to catch up. Like, what the hell?
It's a bit of whiplash. Yeah.
And why is Joke being so nice to him? He just got smacked in the head. Not even smacked in the head. He got like fucking, I don't know, like you can die from that shit.
Got an ass whooping. But it was a well done scene though. Like I genuinely
I agree.
feared for his well being in that scene because it was so brutal.
I appreciate that. I like it. Sometimes I like when they go there.
One of the few times that I was like, oh, this looks
Damn.
really realistic. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, I know. That must have hurt.
That night, Jack finds Joke alone treating his wounds that he got from his ass whooping earlier. And as Jack helps him clean up, Joke becomes shy all of a sudden about showing Jack his chest, even though most of it is already exposed anyway. Joke also apologizes to Jack for dragging him into such a messy situation. Next door, Hope is seen checking in with Save, who seems worried about him. They bicker back and forth, and Save warns him not to die. The wound treating scene. I love that. But I was laughing at why Joke was being shy.
Yeah, I know.
He's already seen your chest, bro. Like, it's already half hanging out.
You've been in prison, bro.
But I guess that's alluding to the fact that he probably has some feelings for him and he's getting a bit shy.
I don't know. I feel like if I had a chest like War, I would be constantly showing it off.
I wouldn't be giving a shit at all. That shirt can stay off for all I care.
It was kind of cute though. I know what they were going for, but it was cute.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I agree that the whole like Joke being shy thing is a little bit out of character maybe or unrealistic.
Yeah, out of character is a good way to put it.
First of all, I think as a guy, the whole like stigma around not wearing a shirt is like completely different. It probably doesn't exist. But then also he's been to prison. I watched a documentary, random thought.
Sidebar.
It's called World's Worst Prisons and Thailand was one of it.
I've heard of it.
And literally you don't even get to wear a shirt in prison. Everyone's like just wearing shorts, especially with how hot Thailand gets. Yeah, and then he's like transformed now after he's out of prison to someone that wears long sleeve shirts and refuses to take his top off.
How on earth he wears long sleeve anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I've just seen like it's just part of being an actor in Thailand that you just have to pretend that you're filming in wintry conditions.
I just don't know how to do it because I think I forgot to mention it in a previous episode. One of the things that I kept noticing when the coach showed up to see Jack was he just had like droplets of sweat just dripping down his face. And all I could think was, fuck, it must be so hot where they're filming.
Yeah, and he wore his sweater like zipped all the way up to his neck.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
Literally, why would you?
I'll never forget the first time I got to Thailand and the air hit me and I thought I was going to suffocate. It was I knew it was going to be hot. I don't think I was prepared for how hot it was going to be.
Because the humidity on top of that is insane. So it's what makes you sweat. And I feel like you're in a musty cupboard.
Humidity just sucks your soul right out of you. It's disgusting.
One thing that Joke says to Jack as he's getting his wound cleaned is it's never going to end like you said. I think he's referring in particular to this heist where they're saying even if you successfully steal the necklace, it's never just going to end like this. It's also good foreshadowing for everything that's going to happen in Jack's life, I reckon, because once you're in with like these illegal syndicates like the debt collectors, you're not getting out as easily as you think it is. I feel like everyone should listen to Joke. Joke understands what's up. and to not be so naive as to think that the whole situation is just going to end as easily as they think it's going to.
I mean, that's why I like Joke, because he's not naive like that. He can sort of see ahead.
He understands the reality of the world. And then also, another thing that I noticed in this same scene was Joke is constantly apologizing to Jack about getting him pulled into these situations. And I think the level of guilt that he feels is pretty severe. It doesn't help that post coming out of prison, he's still getting Jack involved in all of these situations. So, one, he hasn't gotten the forgiveness that he craves from Jack. And because of that, he's still stuck in this mindset where he's constantly sorry and constantly guilty. And that's Joke at the start of this episode.
Joke.
It will change. We'll see.
On the day of the auction, Jack and Hope roll in as Aran's bodyguards. Aran's impatience and Jack's winging it skills nearly derails the entire plan. That's until Rosé makes an entrance. There's some sense of a rivalry alluded to between Rosé and Aran, as they are seen pettily bickering back and forth. But Rosé still relents and decides to invite Aran in as her guest. Worried that Rosé will recognize him, Jack tries to keep his distance from her and attempts to pull this off by wearing a black cloth, a very helpful disguise.
Pirate style.
Oh my God. Whenever, because this happens quite a bit in Asian dramas in particular, when they're trying to elude people or disguise themselves, and they'll just put like a face covering on.
Mask
and I'm like,
on.
you're just drawing more attention to yourself by doing that. And we'll see here, it was bound to fall off anyway, which is what happens. And it just, I don't know what it is, but it's just
useless. It's a useless gesture.
Yeah, it just really irritates me. I hate that. That was bound to happen, and I could see it coming, and I think that's why it was annoying me as it was happening. I was like, what are you doing? If I were in the audience and I saw someone putting something like that on, I would not stop looking at them. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I agree.
It just draws more attention to them. Anyway.
As part of their prep for heists, I feel like they maybe need to start getting used to bringing a face mask or two just in case, because it's been multiple occasions where that would have come in very useful.
I feel like this is a common thread. Like, you guys are doing a heist. Be more prepared. They're not very prepared.
You guys are just walking into this and winging it, but you're trying to steal multi-million-dollar jewelry.
It was good to see Jack, like Yin, going on a massive rant, though. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I know that. Oi! Oi! They do it so well. I love it. And it's like so unexpected when it came from him.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think the way that he acts is like so extra, and it's so opposite to all his other characters that he plays. So yeah, I just hadn't expected him to suddenly change gear and suddenly and act so extra all of a sudden. That was very entertaining.
But I quite enjoy the bickering that Rosé and Aran had. I don't know. I love that kind of pettiness. And weren't they wearing the same shirt or something?
Yeah, and then she pulls out his button. I swear she would have done that on purpose, and she's like, "Oops."
Oh, that's right. She does. I forgot about that.
So good. She's so bitchy, and I don't even think they're on the same level to be bickering anyway, because she's so much richer than he is.
All right, so the auction begins, and the group is really taken aback by this display of exorbitant wealth. In saying that, though, Rosé is really the only one that ends up bidding on anything. As Aran's necklace is shown as one of the items to be auctioned off, we learn that the necklace originally belonged to his mother, a well-known and popular actress who apparently had a secret relationship with the evil boss. In a fit of jealousy, Aran dives into a bidding war with Rosé over the necklace. He's all in until the price skyrockets to 30 million baht. Meanwhile, Jack attempts to hold Aran back, goes so poorly that his wonderful disguise literally slips off, and Rosé immediately spots him.
I was just really confused about this part though, because this whole auction is meant to be for, like, I think Rosé was saying the top 5 wealthiest families in Thailand, but it really feels like she's the only one with money in it. They bid the lowest bids, and the moment she counted them, they're like, "Ooh, too expensive." Are you not the most? Are you not the
Too
richest
much.
families in Thailand?
Yeah. I don't know, for me, when I hear like 30 million baht, I need to remember, oh, that's baht, not 30 million Australian dollars.
It's still a lot though, isn't it?
It is. I think it's like 1.2, 1.5 million or something. I can't remember exactly, but it's a lot.
And also, I was wondering why she was so set on getting the necklace. Was it just to piss off her aunt?
Well, I think that's why they had that scene initially, like that sort of rivalry-ish type of bickering.
Yeah, like she has the money to just throw 30 million baht to try to piss off her aunt.
And I think because he showed interest in wanting to bid for it, I think that sort of grinded her gears.
Yeah.
And so she was like, okay, all right, I want this now.
I want it.
I'm going to be petty
Yeah.
again.
What a bitch. And I love it because at this point in time, I found her aunt really annoying too.
Yeah, I agree. He still hasn't completely grown on me yet.
Well, hopefully that will change in a bit.
The next part of the plan is for Joke to steal the delivery truck transporting the necklace to Rosé. There's just one tiny flaw. Joke doesn't know how to drive. So Hoy steps up to give him a crash course, literally almost a crash course, coaching him through the basics in the world's most high-stakes driving lesson. So somehow the discussion leads into Hoy randomly asking Joke about his ideal type. Joke responds by saying that he's into someone who is kind and forgiving. Meanwhile, Jack, who's been eavesdropping through his earpiece, finds himself grinning at Joke's words like a total sap. Because it's true. I love that bit.
I like this part. I love this whole scene.
Where he catches himself at the end, where he starts smiling.
Yeah, he goes,
He starts smiling. I love that. It was good.
It was good.
That was good.
Good comedic timing as well.
It was. But I quite enjoyed the banter between Hoy and Joke.
Yeah, it's nice to see Joke having relationships with people outside of Jack and his grandma. Like, because he doesn't otherwise have a lot of friends.
Doesn't Jack make a comment during that scene, say, oh, you just get along with anyone? Doesn't he say that?
Does he?
I think he does.
Maybe. Oh, that he likes that, yeah, he can get along with just anyone.
Yeah, like you can make friends with anyone. I think he actually makes a comment about that. So yeah, I appreciated the scene. Thought it was a really cute scene. And even better that Jack was eavesdropping.
I think the whole eavesdropping thing is really cute though. You can see Jack starting to understand Joke as a person better and liking what he sees. Obviously, I think we know that he maybe has Jack in mind when he's talking about his ideal type, but I think that statement from him continues the whole theme of forgiveness, and it probably does push Jack to realize that that's something that Joke needs from him. I think to a certain extent he has forgiven Joke, but maybe he hasn't realized that that's something he needs to say out loud. Sometimes people just need to hear it, and I don't think he's realized that yet. But it does seem like now he is realizing it, and he maybe is putting himself into the shoes of the ideal type that Joke's talking about.
But that's what the grandma said at the end of episode 4. She says that to Jack. She says, oh, you've already forgiven him, you just don't know it. But yeah, he just hasn't vocalized it yet.
That's what Joke needs from him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Next up, we're treated to another one of Joke's questionable disguises. This time he's a bearded, weird-talking truck driver. Don't really know what to call this disguise.
This disguise gives me the creeps.
It is a little bit
I don't like
unsettling
it.
for some reason. I don't know what it is. But the auction guard, Wei, tags along, and as they haul the goods, we learn that Tattoo's genius plan is to get rid of the guard involved by slipping a sleeping sedative mist into an air freshener, which Joke places into the truck. The sedative is activated in the truck, and Joke pulls out and pops on a mask, creepily staring at Gui and waiting for him to pass out.
Dude, if that happened to me, I would fucking freak out. Like, if the person beside me in the car
just pulls out a mask.
Pulled out a, like, World War II era gas mask, I would scream the hell out and I would freak out. I would not be okay with that.
But you remember it when he, like, pulls it out. He puts it on and then he's just, like, sitting there, like...
And he just stares at him. That was so scary,
That was
honestly.
creepy.
That Grit is a fucking boss because he didn't freak out.
That was so creepy.
And in addition, like, what underneath the mask already looks so creepy.
I was getting flashbacks to the actual, like, Joker from The Dark Knight, which is completely fucking unhinged.
I think this was the most unhinged one yet.
Lucky for Joke, or perhaps unlucky, the sleeping sedative / mist is more of a slow burn than a quick knockout. And instead of falling into a peaceful nap, the truck driver realizes what is happening and tries to strangle Joke to death before the effects of the sedative finally knock him out. Joke loses his shit and shouts about wanting to test the sleeping sedative on Tattoo next time to make sure it works properly. Meanwhile, Jack, who's been listening to the chaos unfold, sounds concerned for Joke's well-being. When Joke teases him, asking if Jack is worried about him, Jack deflects and says he just doesn't want the mission to fail. Okay, so this, when they're showing the new disguise of Joke, it's like a sponsorship scene. I actually found this really funny.
Him drinking from the sippy cup, that little box.
Yeah, but he does like such a dramatic like reveal where he turns around and he's like holding it up like this, drinking from it. And all I could think watching this scene was War must have had just so much fun with all these disguises. And I find myself now in every episode waiting for him to have another disguise. I'm like, oh, what's next kind of thing, you know? And I just kind of, at the end of doing all of these episodes, I just want to put like a screen cap up of like how many different ones he had. Yeah, I thought that whole sponsorship scene was really funny.
It was an interesting one to include. I mean, and an interesting spot to include the sponsorship scene.
But it was really funny.
But it was good. It was well done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Joke arrives at the rendezvous spot only to be immediately confronted by the auction's bodyguards. Or some other bodyguards, I should say. Turns out prison reunions aren't all that fun. Before Joke can talk his way out, Jack and the rest of the gang arrive and chaos erupts. In the brawl, Iran, Hoy, Tattoo, and Hope are all knocked out faster than the speed of light, leaving Jack and Joke to handle the mess. They manage to take down the guards, but not before Jack dramatically gets stabbed. Joke refuses to leave him and glances over at the rest of the gang knocked out and notices that Tattoo has fled the building, along with the necklace.
God, fucking Tattoo. What a traitor.
Tell us how you really feel. The main thought that I have from this scene was, finally, it's so good to see Jack and Joke working together. This is like the first time we see them fighting together. I know, it was awesome. And again, love the fight sequence. The only thing that I want to say that I didn't like was when they're after being fighting for a bit and they get knocked around and then they get pushed back onto like the bar stools or whatever. And then they stop to have like a chat.
Yeah, I know. And then the guards just let them. They just wait on the side.
Yeah, not a fan. I don't like that kind of stuff.
Not so realistic.
No, that annoyed me.
Yeah, like, why are you guys talking? Think about what else is around you. I know you're not a fan of Teduin around, but I am. I like their couple dynamics in the sense that they're so different. It started out with around kidnapping Tedu, but then their relationship is basically moving on to Tedu kind of needing to look out for Ran. I think they're kind of cute. And also like how the friends tried to jump in to help out with the fighting, even though they were completely incapable anyway. That's kind of a cute dynamic, cute friend group.
I don't know, I was annoyed by that because it's like, you guys can't fight. You just walked in there and just got punched in the face and you went out cold.
Well, they were a good distraction.
Were they? I don't know.
I don't know, but I thought it was kind of cute, like them just wanting to help.
Yeah, I guess.
And then it's nice to finally see Joke and Jack fighting together, but on the same side, because this entire time when we had fight scenes, it's been Joke against Jack, but this is the first time we're seeing Jack and Joke fighting other people, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them cooperating. So that was, I thought, was really cute. In the entire fight scene with the choreographies, I also noticed that they were very evenly matched. So
yeah,
in fact, I actually think the baddies were more capable than they were. So they were actually losing the fight, which is kind of rare in shows. Like you always see them just being really overpowered and easily, knocking people over, kind of like the bodyguard scene in episode 1. But this one, they were like actually fighting, and they didn't have any sort of lead over the bodyguards.
Yeah.
And so it was nice to see them almost lose for once, see Jack get stabbed.
It was nice to see
he was out of
Jack
his
get
depth.
stabbed.
No, it's just like, it's nice that they went there, you know? Otherwise, it's so boring.
That didn't sound good in the sentence.
Okay, fine. But you know what I mean. And also, the takes for the fight scenes were pretty long.
Yeah, they were.
Which was very impressive.
It was.
Yeah, it was clearly very well choreographed.
Yeah, all the fight scenes to date have been very good.
Just the last bit where Joe was the one that realized that Tattoo had betrayed them. Instead of going after the necklace, which would have gotten him out of the whole mess, he chose to still stay with Jack because he got stabbed, which I
Cute.
think shows his priorities. He's clearly got feelings for Jack if that's what he's choosing to do.
Yeah, it's very obvious at this point. Outside, Tattoo decides it's time to call the cops and bail, but Hoyt soon confronts him and is having none of it. He straight up threatens to cut ties with Tattoo if he doesn't stop what he's doing. Of course, Tattoo doesn't listen, and he rushes off to see his mum to show her the necklace. While commenting on a better life they could have if they were to sell the necklace, Tattoo's mum scolds him and tells him to get rid of it. Meanwhile, Joke takes care of Jack's stab wound whilst waiting for Tattoo to return to his apartment. He shows up and claims he found the necklace on the street and meant to return it. He apologizes and Joke plays along with his lie. Tattoo looks a little sheepish and ends up thanking Joke for everything he's done and gives him the necklace. Jack is touched that Joke is forgiving him even though Tattoo has continued to betray him. After having a cute little chat, Aran arrives to pick up the necklace. Aran thanks them and decides to forget about the other missing pawned items. Taking a page from Aran's book, Jack finally decides to forgive Joke and asks for a do-over. Joke is thrilled and Jack invites him over to have dinner with Grandma.
Oh, I love that last scene.
It was cute. The smiley face on Jack's bandage I thought was a cute little touch as well.
I didn't notice that.
How? It's like the first thing you see in the scene though.
For me, it was cool to see the tables turn just within the span of an episode. So going from Jack tending to Joke's wounds to then Joke tending to Jack's wounds, like that happened so quickly, which made it feel like a lot happened in this episode. Back to the whole Tattoo thing, that pissed me off so much.
I thought you said you liked Tattoo though. You just said you liked him.
I like him with Aran, but I don't like him as a character at this point in time. Just he's so annoying, just taking credit for everyone else's work. Essentially, like everyone puts their life in danger, and then when everything's pretty much safe, then he grabs the spoils and runs away. Like, what a fucking asshole. I suspect the reason why they have Joke so easily forgive Tattoo is to set up, the theme of forgiveness of this episode as well. You are craving that kind of forgiveness from someone else, that you should also apply that to your own life. Forgive and not hold grudges. And I think that's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
That he has his reasons and therefore Joe isn't being petty about this. And he is the person that he wants to be with, you know, like who forgives and is nice.
Jack was so cute about it when Joke was like forgiving Tattoo. Like he's clearly aware that Tattoo is bullshitting him. Joke's just sort of like, oh, cool, thanks for that. I'll take that. And then Jack's just staring at him like, oh, look at you.
I think he was into that.
Yeah, and I think he saw that, and I think that kind of decided it for him to forgive Joke. I think that was the deciding factor right then and there.
It's cute when one character like Jack is inspired by Joke and his capacity to forgive and his niceness, and therefore that also influences how he behaves. So that was really cute. Like clearly he's having an effect on him. So I like that. After he realizes that Joke needs explicit forgiveness, that he then goes and gives that and actually comes out loud and says out loud that he forgives him, and the look of relief and that burden leaving his body for Joke is just like, it was such good acting on War's part. You could see the burden lift off his chest.
Yeah, it was relief, but also he was sort of almost laughing in a way like, oh, I've actually done it. Like I've finally gotten his forgiveness. I've been working towards this for years and years and years, and it's finally happened. Yeah, it was a cute scene.
It was. And I think they built up to that for such a long time.
Yeah. I like that it wasn't sort of just a quick sort of couple episodes in. Like they waited till end of episode 5 for it to shift. So I felt like it was a good sort of point to pull the trigger on that. I think they'd gone any longer than that, it would have started to get really annoying.
They did drag this out a long time.
They did, but I think this was the right moment for it.
Oh, I think it was really sweet with Jack inviting Joe over to his place afterwards because it's like inviting him back into his life, not just his home, because that's where his world and his family is. Even though Joe has taken the initiative to leave, knowing that he might not be wanted there, but for Jack to then go and invite him back in, I think that would have meant the whole world to Joe. And it does feel like a new beginning for the both of them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rose is furious that the necklace has gone missing. The auction's host gives her Jack's photo and says he is one of the thieves. It's revealed that Rose has been looking for Jack since the night he saved her all those years ago. At the end of the episode, her advisor, Miss Nang, shares that he has been working with a loan shark to pay off his debt. Miss Nang believes that if she wants to help Jack, helping to pay off his debts would be the best way.
Yeah, the only comment I had was that why was Jack the only one that they identified from the whole gang? It was just so convenient because Jack's the one that Rosé's interested in, whereas the rest of them were like more like, why was Ron not identifying he was the main one?
Do you think that has something to do with Miss Nang trying to like manipulate the situation?
I think Miss Nang knows a lot more than we realize about the whole situation, and she's intentionally manipulating things.
I mean, not that we know much about her. She's still a bit of a mystery, to be honest.
Me neither, but it definitely is her pulling the strings in the background and
absolutely.
trying to manipulate the whole situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, that was episode 5. Moving on to episode 6.
So, episode 5 was another action-packed episode, which was quite enjoyable, but the pace does slow down quite a bit in episode 6, and we go from fights and theft to warm, cozy family dinners over Chinese New Year vibes. So this is my favorite episode so far.
I couldn't tell. The way that you recapped it there.
I don't know, it just hasn't been top. It's like a very early episode to be my favorite. I would love if another episode could top this, okay? Grandma Toy Ting and 2 of her friends sit around a table having a meal. Toy Ting's friends ask why the house suddenly looks so good, and Toy Ting says it's someone that Jack wants to protect that came by to tidy it up. You can always count on kids to be able to judge things for what they are because the girls say that's basically a boyfriend. Jack and Joke come in and Jack introduces Joke as his friend, which Joke picks up on and the girls tease him for. Yeah, I'm just going to stop here to say that everyone can pick up their special relationship.
Yeah, I forgot how teasy it was. I forgot that they showed up as well. I thought it was just like the girls having a meal there. I forgot that Jack and Joke rock up.
And I think the girls can sense that something is going on between the both of them. But between Jack and Joke as well, I think it's a bigger deal than we realize for Jack to introduce Joke as his friend.
Yeah,
because of everything that has happened so far. Yep. So it is a step in a positive direction for their relationship.
I didn't even think of it like that. That's true. Yeah.
Also, this was the scene where Jack very naturally just tells the whole table of people that they're just going to go have a shower together and then come back for dinner.
I forgot about that.
I mean, if you didn't pick it up before, you'd pick it up now.
Oh my God.
That something's going on.
Do you shower with your friend? I'm not sure I would.
Yeah, he was like, just let's go shower and then have dinner. Like, so, and he was so natural as well. Like, they've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, their relationship's definitely changing and everyone can pick it up.
Yeah.
Including these girls, including the bodyguards, including grandma, including the nurses at the hospital. It's like literally everyone but them. Jack and Grandma sit at the table for dinner after they shower, I suppose, where Grandma reveals that she gets her medicine via Jack's shady debt-collecting company. Jack, finally showing some common sense, says that he'll handle it and tells Grandma not to interact with his company anymore. When Joke joins them at the table, Joke, clearly not used to sitting at the table to eat with family, looks a little lost. He goes to flip the fish, only to be scolded by Grandma, who says that their increasingly good fate will now be reversed. Joke then proceeds to cut off a bunch of noodles while serving himself, which again earns him another scolding from Grandma, who says that he's now cutting her life short. Grandma asks after Joke and his plans from now on, offering to let him stay for longer. This time, though, Jack agrees. Grandma puts some food in his bowl and encourages Joke to eat, which causes Joke to tear up. He's clearly not used to familial affection and never realized that eating together as a family could be this nice. So, yeah, I absolutely love this scene and the way that they incorporated Chinese superstition into the storytelling. So I thought that to make things a bit more clear, that I sort of explain a little bit about these superstitions.
Please do, because I'm not superstitious at all.
Yeah, and Chinese superstitions is just like, I kind of feel like they pluck it out of thin air. Sometimes it's very unexpected.
You don't say.
But let me just go straight into it. With the fish thing, Chinese people generally eat fish as a whole. Like if you buy steamed fish at a restaurant, you'll get a whole fish. And a whole fish traditionally symbolizes a boat. So if you flip the fish over, it means you've capsized the boat, which is a shit ton of bad luck. You're not supposed to flip the fish to eat the meat underneath it. What you're supposed to do is remove the bone once you're done with the first top of the fish and then eat the fish underneath.
How do you eat the fish then? Because like if you're going to eat the whole fish, you're technically eating the whole boat then.
You can pull out the bone with the spine with all the bones attached to it as a whole piece. It's not how people do it anymore. Like I flip the fish all the time. I'm always keen to get that first bit of fish that is right underneath. Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, do your family sort of partake in sort of these kinds of superstitions?
Not this kind.
Okay.
I'm sure, I mean, there is here and there, like, don't stab your chopsticks directly into your bowl. Like, you're supposed to lay them on top. I'm pretty sure it's bad luck because if you stab your chopsticks into, like, a bowl of soup or a bowl of rice, it looks like you're putting in, like joss sticks or incense into the bowl, which is kind of like giving an offering to dead people or what you would do at a temple. And I will always get scolded doing that as a kid. I think less and less people subscribe to it now, but the older generation definitely still. Like grandma. Yeah, so the other superstition is about cutting noodles as you serve yourself. And it's bad luck to cut noodles because they symbolize a long life. So the longer the noodle, the better.
But why was he doing that anyway?
It's a thing that I do as well, actually.
You cut them?
Sometimes, like when you serve yourself noodles, they never end. So I just like slice it off in the plate.
What?
So I can just get
No.
however much I want. Yeah, it's something I
No.
do. Only on serving platters, not when you eat your own noodles.
You cut them? What the fuck? I would never do that.
Yeah, I just take a spoon and cut it across, especially with soup ones. I just like can't be fucked to keep pulling on them. I've just always cut it. But maybe I shouldn't because apparently cutting the noodle means cutting your life short. But yeah, so that's the background of the superstition, and I love that they've incorporated Chinese superstition into the whole thing. One, to show obviously their Chinese heritage, but then to pull that into the storytelling as well. It's just so cute. And the way that the grandma, her comedic timing was so good as well.
I was just thinking, there's a scene where before that they're talking about sort of, oh, you've had a health checkup, and they talk about, yeah, I'm healthy as a horse kind of thing, I'm all good. And it cuts to her talking about getting her medication from the evil boss and his company. And as soon as they said that, I was like, something's going to happen to her. I'm convinced something's going to happen to her. And then when it went into the superstitions where like flipping over the boat with the fish and then you're cutting my life short, because I didn't really understand sort of the significance of, I guess, the fish thing and the noodle debacle. Even I, before then, could tell that something bad was going to happen. So much happened in this scene now.
Oh my God, I have so much to say about this scene.
Even I was going to say the joke jumping at the opportunity to keep living with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was going to ask you about this. I couldn't pin whether or not the moment was meant to be funny or sad when he was sort of crying about not having anyone to go to or not wanting to return home. It was kind of weird, don't you think?
It wasn't funny to me at all.
But it was sort of the way he was like kind of crying. I was like, is he trying to be funny right now?
I did not get funny at all. The part about Joke and his family kind of felt serious because he was tearing up at multiple times during the conversation. He was clearly very touched to be a part of this whole thing. This scene also set up Joke's newfound family. And also this scene was when he reveals that he's been to prison very casually, by the way. And then Grandma was like, what the fuck? She basically accepts him for who he is and treats him with the same affection.
Doesn't she say like, oh, but you've stopped doing that stuff now or something to that effect or whatever she says?
Yeah. I think there's still the element of she's the adult in their life and she wants him to be on the right path. Just with that one scene of reassurance, she accepts him and like starts putting food into his bowl. And it's so sweet when she does that, yeah, because honestly, like that's not really something you do for just anyone. So it's a sign of affection coming from an older person. I think for him, he's like very unused to it.
She did sort of take Joker under her wing very quickly, though. You know, I don't think I would be very super welcoming to just some random on the street like she is.
Well, he did save her from getting scared.
True, but still, at the same time, I just don't think I get close to people that quickly.
I think it's a community thing. You know how she takes in Toiting and she takes in Toiting's friends? Maybe it's a different culture.
Yeah.
So Rosé goes to the debt collection agency to cry to the evil boss that her necklace got stolen by Aran and Jack. Throughout the conversation, she puts the blame squarely on Aran and tries to defend Jack. Miss Nang threatens the boss with Rosé's father, saying he better get the necklace to Rosé. The scene then cuts to Aran wearing the necklace and thanking the rest of the group for getting his necklace back. It looks like the Three Little Pigs group chat now has 6 people, although Jack and Hope promptly leave the group. The scene with Rosé fully crying in Evil Boss's office pissed me off. No, it didn't piss me off. It annoyed me. It was just like...
It pissed you off.
Yeah, I think the crying was meant to be over the top.
I totally forgot about this, but I was just reading my notes. But I found something really funny in this scene when, you know how they bring the 2 bodyguards in, Jack and Joke were like fighting with? When they're trying to describe who they were fighting with and they call Jack edible.
Did they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's lost in translation, but that's what the subtitle said, that he looked edible.
Edible. That's an interesting way to describe someone.
And then they continue like role playing the whole fight sequence. Like when he like motions to like, oh, we got hit on the head like this, and his arm comes up and he's like, oh, he smelt great as well. And like I love Miss Nang's reaction there. She's kind of just like, oh my god. Her reaction is literally my reaction anytime a kind of comedic scene comes on that I not necessarily don't find funny, but I'm just like, oh god, like move on. That is literally my reaction.
Joke is staying over at Jack's, sharing the same room even. Joke tries to claim the bin, but is relegated to the floor instead. They bicker, causing the wound on Jack's abdomen to tear open again. They start bickering again using some very ambiguous phrasing to the delight of an eavesdropping grandma. That was a good scene.
That was genuinely funny. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's how I would be if I were a grandma.
Yeah.
And I was overhearing something like that.
That was really funny, actually. I forgot about this.
Grandma knows what's up. So Jack wins and he lies on the bed while Joke gets the floor. They talk about Jack's dream to open a learning center for kids and Joke and how he feels like a burden to the people that he loves. Joke stares at Jack while he sleeps, and this is how we know that he's down bad. The next morning, Joke breaks into the bathroom while Jack is inside brushing his teeth, showing excellent use of his thieving skills. Jack stares at Joke while he moisturizes his face, which Joke then teases him for in return. Okay, so this whole sequence was just kind of cute.
The whole nighttime discussion was just super domestic. I loved it. Just already feels so natural for them. I totally forgot about the moisturizing scene. I think I've mentioned this to you before, but I love the fact that he's basically, well, he's a criminal. He's got a record. He spent the last 5 years in prison, but he's very diligent with his skincare.
Exactly. I know it was very unexpected for me to see him like use a coin to break into the locked bathroom.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, he used a coin to break the lock or to break into the bathroom because it was locked. And Jack was inside brushing his teeth. I was pretty surprised when that happened.
Did you notice though in that scene, because Jack's like brushing his teeth and he's got it all over his face. And then when Joke's trying to get in, he like, the next time you see him, his face is all cleaned up. Almost like he knew that Joke was going to like break in.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I didn't notice that. I choose to believe that's what it is instead of it being a continuity error.
In my mind, it's Jack wanting to look good. of a joke.
That's what it is. But that was cute. And then the whole thing, it was so domestic to the point where while Joke was doing his skincare, Jack was just sitting on the toilet brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
I just don't think it gets any more domestic than that.
Yeah, that's right. He was sitting on the toilet. I forget about that.
It was so sweet.
It was just super natural, the progression of it all.
Yeah.
I agree
It
with
didn't
that.
feel out of place.
No, it was very natural.
I liked the night scene, especially, I think, because it felt like it was the first time they were both able to be vulnerable with each other. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think back in the last couple episodes, and I just don't think they've had the opportunity to really have a heart-to-heart talk until now. So it's actually quite a significant scene because, yeah, they really could kind of lay things out in the open and speak to each other. And I don't think it's easy for Joke to talk about his family. You can clearly see that after the whole forgiveness arc was over in the last episode, that they have gone full speed ahead into romantic feelings territory.
Do you think at this point, like, it's pretty obvious that Joke has feelings for Jack, but do you think it's obvious the other way
That's a very good question.
at this specific point? Because I feel like he does.
I feel like he does, but he might not know it. He's obviously behaving like someone that has feelings for Joke.
He's not fully aware of it.
I don't think he knows it. Yeah, I don't think he's fully aware of it yet, but he definitely does have feelings for Joke.
I can't really pinpoint the moment, whereas I feel like you can probably pinpoint the moment for Joke, perhaps.
I think it crossed over with the whole forgiveness thing. So I think he started to have feelings for Joe even before he fully forgave him.
But I feel like that moment where he's like looking at his ring at the end of what episode was it? So I think it was end of episode 3. He was like holding the ring and he's like, he grins to himself. I think that was the moment.
Joke? I feel like Joe had feelings for Jack as he left, like when he was leaving prison.
Already back then. Okay.
I kind of think that their first confrontation scene at the debt collector's office, where he like does this to his chin and he teases him and whatnot, that is not platonic.
I think that's just Joke being...
I don't think he would do that with Tattoo Ahoy.
Yeah, but he wasn't at odds with those people. You know what I mean?
But he wasn't trying to fight Jack. He was trying to get his forgiveness.
Yeah. That's what I think, that his whole focus was on just getting forgiveness. I don't think he thought romantically of him. Not until this moment, I don't think.
I think that he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have such different opinions when it comes to this topic.
I mean, yeah. I think he fell first and he fell way earlier than Jack. But I kind of feel like he left the prison having feelings for Jack. Because the way he acted was completely different. He was flirty from the get-go. Maybe at some point his guilt, like he had no one to speak to in prison, so therefore the guilt that he was feeling for Jack became
into romantic
feelings. Because he was thinking about him so much.
The only thing that he ever thought about while he was in prison was probably Jack.
Yeah,
I doubt he probably thought about his family that much.
Yeah, but I feel like he came out of prison having feelings, but without any explanation for how.
I don't know. I kind of agree, but I'm also like, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. I agree. So Evil Boss cuts ties with Aran for stealing the necklace from Rosé. He doesn't lay a hand on Aran though, choosing to instead assault Hope by proxy. He reminds Aran that would be him if not for the fact that he was his son.
That was brutal, that scene. That scene and the scene where Joke get beat up, they were quite violent and quite brutal, I thought.
It was quite out of character for the show to have that, because then they intersperse it with torture scenes being tickles. I mean, they just go the two extremes. So which are you? Are you like a really violent criminal type of show, or are you the kind of show where torture equals to tickles and dressing someone up as a clown?
Because there is moments like, you know, the grandma listening in at the door, like eavesdropping to the conversation.
Yeah.
Rosé being like completely oblivious to Jack and Joke having a conversation and not being able to pick up on it. Like, you can still instill a lot of that humor into it.
Yeah, it's light and fluffy.
Yeah, without ruining, I guess, the more dramatic elements of the show.
I think they've toned it down. Well, 5 and 6 didn't have much of it.
I agree with you. 6 is a great episode. I guess because there was a lot more scenes of Jack and Joke as well, and they're on the same team.
Yeah.
They're not like...
And yeah, they've finally gotten past the first arc.
Yeah, it's sort of, you know, they've kind of closed one chapter and they're moving on to the next kind of phase.
This is one of my favorite scenes because it's so soft and warm. So it's Lunar New Year in Jack's household. Grandma hands out red packets to Jack and Joke, wishing for them to look after each other for a long time. She reminds them not to lend money to anyone today as it's bad luck and will lead to money disappearing for the rest of the year. Toy Ting comes running in, crying that she's being accused of being uneducated because she can't afford to go to school. She says she's dumb now. Jorik tells her tough times make a person stronger, or something that he's had to go through as well. Jack offers to teach Toy Ting instead. He then tries to give Toy Ting some money, but she rejects, saying it's too much money, which is, very responsible of her. He tells her then to treat it as a loan, and she accepts happily. And at this point, I'm about to throw something at the TV because
it was a weird direction for Jack to go when talking about a loan, which I say that just because his whole life has been about being in debt, really.
I think it's just something people say when they want them to accept money. You know the other person wants the money as well, but they're too
stubborn to take it.
Polite.
Yeah.
It's just you have to keep saying no even though you want it. So saying treat it as a loan is a way to just get them to accept it, but everyone knows that it's not going to get paid back. And also Grandma just said not to loan loan anyone money today. And he turns around and just loans her money.
Straight away.
And Grandma's standing right there. Are you not picking this up, Grandma? What? No, your grandson's about to be fucked over by this small gesture of kindness, and you're not understanding what he's doing to himself.
I think that's just him, though, because I had a note about this. I'm like, he just can't help himself with wanting to help other people. Yeah, I just love the bickering that Jack and Joke had in that scene. I was smiling the whole time because I was just like, oh, Joke just fits in so well.
They're like a married couple.
Yeah, he just fits slotted right in with the family dynamic. It's like it was always like that. Very warm, like the whole lighting of the scene. It was just really warm and inviting. And
I mean, I like the scene with her giving out red packets to the kids. I think there's the added touch of Joke being treated like Jack's spouse. When you give red packets to your family members, you also give it to their spouse, but you give them different warm well wishes. And in the case of this one, look after each other for a long time or be together for a long time, that's just something you only say to a couple, not friends.
Like the vibes
so
already
Grandma
there.
already treats him like he's married into the family.
It was a very homey scene, actually.
So
it was really
so
cute.
nice to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Tadu, Hoi, and Tadu's mum moves back into their old house, and there's a noticeable absence of Rin, which is a stark contrast to the previous scene. Tadu's mum and Hoi choose to live back at the shrine instead, as she complains that the house is too unlucky. She tries to put up some red auspicious signs on her way out, but Tadu tears them off promptly. Arand is out having a meal with his old colleagues, Farah and Joyce. Now that he's been cut off from his dad, their attitude towards him is noticeably different. And they really rub it in when Aran's card declines and he needs them to cover his share.
That would be so humiliating. Like if I were in that
situation.
My god. And
I cringe just thinking about it.
Oh my god, like if I had just had beef with someone and I'm like, can you cover my my food bill?
And not even that, he treated them like shit.
Yeah, no, he did.
Save discovers Hope severely injured at home. Hope tells him about the whole situation and that Boss beat him up. So this is a weird interlude between everything else that's happening.
I forgot about that. Oh my god, yeah.
Random scene in between all of these warm, happy scenes. Then we move back into a scene that actually makes us feel good. Jack, Joke, Tattoo, and Hoi sit around a table having a meal while Jack talks about his plan for the future school that he'll be opening soon. They talk about how it'll be a big undertaking and everyone talks about what they could do to pitch in. Joke promises that he won't ever resort to stealing again. Aran joins them at the table and puts on a show of crying, saying that he's been kicked out and needs a place to stay. He ends up staying with Tattoo, despite Tattoo's insistence that he wants to live alone. Hoi is at the temple and uses the women's bathroom on accident. He gets accused of being a pervert and gets beaten up. They ask him to earn his keep around the temple and he becomes Miss Nang's driver. That scene with them sitting around the table, I thought it was really, really cute to see Jack so hopeful about his school for the second time. It was really cute to see like how his friends were all pitching in and talking about what they could do to help. And when Joe was speaking about the school, he was using terms like we would do this and we would do that. And I don't know if it's a translation thing because I'm not sure if they have those pronouns in Thai, but it just felt really nice and warm for me reading the English subtitles because Joe was taking on Jack's dreams and making it their dreams. And oh, that was just so cute. I mean, it was very meaningful when someone does that. And I think it's a big step in their relationship when Joe was doing that for him.
But at the same time, I feel like Joke's dream is literally just to help Jack. Like that's his goal in
That's
life. He doesn't really give a shit about him. He just cares about sort of Jack and what Jack's doing. I mean, it's cute, don't get me wrong, but in the long run, I'm not
I
sure.
think it's also because he's been told growing up that he's useless. And so he hasn't really bothered dreaming for himself.
That's true. Yeah, and he sort of latched on to the first person that gave a shit about him.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is actually.
I just haven't written it in the summary, but essentially in my notes to say that Iran's like a fish out of water in Tattoo's house. And I love their change in dynamics with Tattoo now being the one ordering Iran around, and Iran has to sit there meekly in his house and listen to instructions.
I don't really remember the scene, but
So he gives Iran like a small towel.
oh,
And
and it's like
starts
dirty.
tearing up, and he was like, "Oh, I feel so loved. People looking after me. You like look out for me." And he was like, "That's a fucking rag. Go clean my house."
Yeah, I remember that now.
I don't know why I haven't watched this episode in so long, but I still remember that scene so clearly. I love their dynamics. I don't know what it is about them. I know you're not into it, but
Yeah, you really like them.
it's funny. It's like when two very unlikely characters get together.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. I'm not feeling it yet, but maybe that'll change.
Maybe once you have all 12 episodes and you rewatch it as a whole, I find that my opinion on things change when I watch it like that. So
See, this is why rewatching is good.
nah.
I'll stand by it.
No, it's such a big commitment.
It's 12 episodes.
Yeah, I'm more willing to rewatch something if I've watched it while it aired and then it's done airing and I can binge it. I'll rewatch that, but I won't rewatch something that I've already watched and binged once.
God, I don't know how you do that.
There's so many shows out in the world.
I can't pull my head out of a show that I'm watching. I don't know. I'm like in the world, I'm immersed in it, and I can't just switch off and move to another show. I don't know how you do it. It's fascinating. It's generally, it should be studied because I can't do it. Like as soon as an episode of this comes out, I'm like setting an alarm. I need to watch it like ASAP.
Well, I took 2 days to watch the most recent episode.
I know. I don't know how you do that. Anyway, one more comment about the scene.
Yes.
I thought it was really cute when they're around the table and Jack and Joker sort of just talking like they're the only two people there because he's promising not to like steal anymore or like, you know, go back to the old ways. And everyone else is like looking at them and seeing obviously that there's something going on between them. And I love the fact that Hoy didn't jump in there with some dick comment or some silly comment. He sort of just let the moment go by, didn't cheapen it with a joke. And I don't know, it was just a really cute moment. I love that moment.
It was cute.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, let me move on to the next scene because that's my other favorite scene from this.
You really love this episode.
And I think it's everyone's favorite scene from this episode.
Oh yeah,
Come
no,
on.
wait, no, this is a good. I just read the recap. Yeah, this is a good scene.
Yeah.
Go on,
okay,
go on.
let's get into it. Okay. I'm reviving a little bit after episode 5.
You really? Wait, do you dislike episode 5 more than episode 3 and 4?
No, okay. If you ask me what happened in episode 5, I could not tell you, even though we just talked about it. What happened in episode 5? Let me go back and let me have a quick look. Oh, the heist! Okay.
We literally just spent one whole fucking hour talking about it. You're like, it's gone. I don't know what it was about.
If you ask me what happened in episode 6, I could tell you a lot. Episode 5, what? What? Which heist? I like the later episodes better as well. I struggle with the first 5.
Interesting. Oh, even episode 2?
What happened in episode 2?
Fuck, I hate you. Episode 2 is still one of my favorites.
Oh Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. No,
That's a
I
great
kind of like episode
episode.
2. Although I feel like maybe episode 11 might become my favorite as well because I saw all the tears and I was like, I'm here for it. I love tears. I love it when they cry. Love angst.
The angst in the next episode is going to be like off the fucking charts, I think. So in the MV that War did, there's actually clips of episode 11 in it.
Wait, is that of the special episode, the special clips in ITE?
No, this is like the MV that he did because he sang a song and there's like clips of like the actual episodes in the MV.
I'm kind of scared to watch it because every time a BL actor sings, my skin crawls off.
Well, that's why I haven't listened to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, you looked at the MV with the sound off?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't watched it yet.
Honestly, if you watched his music video on mute, that would be hilarious. I just want to watch episode 11. Don't sing to me.
Look, he's probably got a beautiful voice, but I'm scared. I've been traumatized in the past.
There's been some shockers out there.
I've just seen like clips of it on Twitter, but I haven't unmuted any of them because I'm like, I want to hear it. I know, I think it's more I want to hear it in the episode first.
I agree.
Like, if you watch the MV on mute, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, I'm just scared. Like, I don't want to like hate the song before I've heard it in the episode, I think.
I agree.
But I did see some stuff on Twitter. Like, I can't not go on Twitter, so I'm going to be spoiled.
Nothing wrong with being spoiled. It just makes your anticipation higher.
Exactly. Oh, I'm fucking hyped for the next episode.
Back to the best scene in episode 6. So Joke sets up a whole classroom for Jack, who comes in very thankful. While waiting for the kids to arrive, Jack tests Joke's knowledge and they discover that the practice book that Jack has was actually donated by Joke. The testing becomes very flirty and Jack says, I like you to Joke, then plays it off as a hint for the test. He asks Joke to promise that he won't disappear until his dream is achieved. So I think this summary does not do this entire scene justice and you have to just go watch it yourself. It's so blurry and soft and I thought it was a dream sequence at first and I think you might have said the same thing as well.
It was such a good scene. I can see why this is your favorite scene because it's definitely one of my favorites.
It's up there. It's number 1, I think, for me.
It kind of was a bit of a tease because the first watch it was sort of like he says I like you, and then I was like, oh my god, like wow,
confession,
we're going there already. Shit, episode 6, fuck yes. Oh my god, this is unreal. Like they're totally taking a different direction with this show. I didn't think they would confess this early, and then it stopped. No,
I bet that's the thought process that Joke had as well.
Yeah, it was just sort of just like, huh? Still loved it though. At the same time, who does that to a friend?
They're not friends at this point. They are not friends.
I don't know why he backtracked on it though.
I think because he himself hasn't admitted to himself that he likes Joke, but he is behaving based on his instincts.
But the implication of him, he's asking him, stick around until I realize my dream.
It's a confession.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
I did have the question of if Jack knew what he was doing with being so flirty at the testing part. If he knew what he was doing, I thought it was actually kind of cool because Joke very obviously is into Jack.
Yes.
So you wouldn't tease the other person only to take it back. So I can only assume that it wasn't intentional. And he was just like acting on instinct because otherwise it's not a very nice thing to do to someone you like.
Or do you think perhaps he was like testing the waters by saying it?
Maybe, but he was full on like cradling his neck and the forehead to forehead touch.
I mean, I wouldn't do that with my friend.
I think you're right. Maybe he was testing the water and because Joke wasn't like rejecting him and he was actually leaning into all of these touches that it took their relationship further and it was like implicit that they are, now something a little bit more than friends.
I forgot to mention also when they did that flashback sequence when they were younger.
Yes.
You know those tropes, the characters, we know them as adults and they go along and they have this really cool storyline and then somewhere in the middle of the show they discover that they knew each other as kids. They've had this sort of connection all along. Fucking hate that. And they do it so often in K-dramas in particular. My little favorite K-drama has this trope in it. I think it works for that show, but I think because of that, I've seen it so much now that I hate it now. And when they were doing these flashbacks to when they were kids with the book, I thought perhaps that's what was going to happen, that they were going to have a scene where they went to school together, or they've known each other, or they've crossed paths before in some kind of way like that. And I was just like, oh no, not again. But then it ended up just being sort of through like the book or whatever it was, and I thought that was actually really cute, and I was so glad that they didn't go down. I mean, we don't know yet because the show hasn't finished. Fuck, I hope they don't do that.
It wouldn't have been very realistic for them to know each other. They're from completely different social classes.
Yeah, fingers crossed that no scene like that comes up for the remaining episodes.
I don't think so. That book connection was cute though. It's a good way around it.
Yeah, and like when he made he changed the sad face into the smiley face, like referencing episode 1 again at the bar. That was really cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love this scene too. I agree with you. This is a good episode.
I like that scene, that flashback as well.
Yeah.
Because, in episode 5, was it episode 3 or episode 4? One of the older episodes, because I'm not keeping track at the moment. They show, Joke fixing up Jack's house and as some sort of metaphor for fixing up him as a person in his emotional state. This is kind of a reverse of that, where Jack was the one that was fixing up Joke's mistakes. So I thought that was really cute in that they're also helping each other. It's mutual. And it's also Jack then having fixed his mistakes, both currently because he has to fix a lot of his fuck-ups now, but also as a child with the spelling errors and whatnot in the book. And he says, "Don't worry, I'll fix it for you." I think that's so cute. And it's a way, a nice callback to what their relationship is like now. And yes, they didn't meet as kids, and yes, they didn't have some sort of childhood romance, but that dynamic has been around since then, and even before they knew each other. If I were to rewatch any scene, it would be this scene. And then he was asking Joke to spell out confess and promise. And then in the middle of such a sweet scene, Joke, or War rather, keeps insisting on pronouncing it as promise.
I love how he pronounces promise.
And then he got corrected. And then he says promise again, which means I think he's doing it on purpose. I think it was a little bit of humor injected into the episode, and it kind of felt like maybe it was War's real personality, because I think they were improvising a lot of that scene.
I'm pretty sure when they put their heads together, that was improvised by them.
If it was improvised and not scripted, then it would make sense that we're a little bit confused about where exactly they sit on the friends versus couple.
Yeah, if it wasn't
scale,
originally meant to be,
because it wasn't scripted. Yeah, but I mean, the actors were obviously feeling it, but whether or not it was scripted was another thing.
I mean, they didn't have to keep that in there. They could have done another take or something. This is a good episode, actually. It's sort of like one of the few episodes without Joke crying in it. He cries a lot.
It was a happy episode. We don't have many of those. It's very emotionally warm and flattering throughout.
Feel-good episode.
Yeah, despite, Hope getting beaten the shit out of it.
But then you mentioned that. It was a really weird cut-in of this scene.
Yeah, why would you add that? Stop ruining my mood.
How can we bring people's mood down? All right, let's insert this
Yeah,
scene.
how can we... They're too happy right now. We need to balance it out. So Joke takes Jack to a gym that he got for his school. Turns out it's from Jack's old coach, who has left a deed to the Taekwondo gym in Jack's name. But he does forgive the coach, and he clearly feels the weight of that resentment lift off his shoulders. I can see it on Jack's face, and credit to Yin in his acting on that part. Jack goes to the bank to invest his money and to withdraw money to pay off his debt. So I assume he goes to withdraw money to pay off his debt, and any remaining amount, he invests it, because I was really confused in the part.
I just remembered when we first talked about this, how you thought
Shut up.
Safe was Jack's cousin. And then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he said that about Joke. And you're like, nah.
Okay, but why would you introduce Joke as your cousin?
I don't know
Why?
either.
What is the reason for that?
I thought that was
Just introduce
random.
him as your friend.
Yeah, no, I thought that was random as well, but I did get a kick out of you. Because I thought I was wrong. I was like, fuck, I've missed something else again. And I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm like, nope, he literally introduced Joke as his cousin.
This scene is so implausible. I don't understand it. Why would you do that?
I don't know either. That was weird. He could have just said, yeah, he's a friend or whatever. I'm starting to sit here. I'm wondering, is that just another translation thing? I don't know.
Maybe, because they all know that Joke's already met Safe and been introduced as his electrician. You know what? I understand everyone that talks about how this show is convoluted because it fucking is. Unless this comes back like 10 episodes later. No, okay. 5 episodes later. It seems like unnecessarily complicating the plot.
And he didn't even hesitate. He didn't like have a look on like, oh, how should I introduce him? It was like, oh yeah, this is my cousin.
This is my cousin. Who I just made forehead contact with.
And I randomly go to the bank with my cousin. So what of it?
Yeah.
The same bank, mind you.
Oh yes, which Safe now works at.
And not just that, I'm surprised they even let Joke into this bank, to be honest, considering he previously robbed it.
Oh my god, that's such a good point. If this were real life, he would be banned.
I don't know how it works. Like he's done his time and he's out and whatnot. But like I don't know, it's a question mark on whether or not he should probably be in this establishment.
Just establishing that Jack has invested all his remaining cash into an investment portfolio, giving Safe 100% of his trust in helping his money to grow. So we all know how stupid of an idea that was.
Nothing's going to go wrong with that.
So Miss Nang and Boss meet to negotiate the necklace situation. Boss tries to beg her to make an exception for him and the fact that the necklace was his wife's. But Miss Nang mentions that the only way Rosé might agree to this is if Jack becomes her companion. Boss agrees, saying that's an easy request, and said that it won't be so easy for Jack to escape from him. Jack and Joe go home to find Grandma and Boss having a conversation, with Boss delivering Grandma's medication. Which, you know, I thought Jack told you not to do that, Grandma. Jack thanks Boss for everything and pays off his debt officially. Boss accepts his money and his resignation, returns his ring and wishes him all the best. Safe brings food to Hope, and when Hope tries to get to work, he tells Hope that everything has been taken care of. It cuts back to Jack and Joke saying that this is really the end, and looking forward to opening the school and doing something peaceful for once. The episode ends with Amar collapsing onto the ground, unconscious.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, I feel like the characters have a lot to learn with not saying stupid things that foreshadow the rest of the episode.
Come on, guys. It's only episode 6.
Oh my god. And then also the whole thing with Joke saying earlier that it's never like going to end the way you think it is. This is when it comes to bite them back in the ass. Jack is so naive when it comes to Boss.
Once you're kind of in this world, trying to get out of it is next to impossible.
Yeah, he tried to resign, for fuck's sake.
I know.
That's not how it works.
It's never going to happen. Particularly like when the boss was so like chill about it, like, oh yeah, okay, you're done. Like, red flag.
Yeah, have a good life.
You know?
Something about Jack and his naivety irritates me sometimes. It's like, you've grown up in the hood. You should know better.
I will say, as soon as I saw Save worked at that bank, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, some crappy shit's going to go down. Like, immediately.
Really? I didn't pick it up at all. I just thought it was an opportunity to talk about the money.
Nothing good is going to come out of this. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. Fuck, like, snitchy sly Safe.
I'm sorry. I'm just cracking up because I'm looking at my notes from here and it says, I don't know why they would choose to have Safe choose to betray his cousin Jack. Like, I was so lost.
You were so convinced that they were cousins. I love it.
I was so lost. I was so out of it. I was so far off the mark.
Because when you said it to me the first time, I'm like, what? Like, what? Did I miss something again? I was so confused. You're like, yeah, they're cousins. And I'm like, no, they're not.
I don't know, but to see it in my notes, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Save chose to betray his cousin Jack.
His cousin Jack. Oh god.
I can understand why you were confused though, because I'm with you. Like, why the fuck did he introduce Joke as his cousin? There was no need for that.
Thank you. It makes no sense.
Anyway, so I mean, that's funny.
I think the problem is the show's so convoluted and we're relying on subtitles. And I think we're missing a lot of the information that's on screen.
I would love to sit down with like a Thai person and go through like stuff that they've picked up on. No, this translation's fucked or something, because I'm sure there's a lot
we
of
missed
it.
heaps.
Yeah, there'd be heaps. Save Jack's cousin. It was a bit of a snitch. I'm just going to refer to him as Jack's cousin now. I feel like that's canon now. They're cousins.
No! Honestly, it makes more sense to me that they're cousins than Jack and Joke.
I completely agree with you, but it doesn't stop me laughing at your note. I don't know why they would choose to have choose to portray his cousin Jack out of nowhere. Anyway, what an ending to an episode, I guess. Just not the ending. It was such a fluffy, fun episode, and then it ends like that. Like, fuck off.
I know.
It was like, guys, you've had too much fun. Fuck you.
I think that's it. So in terms of like overall thoughts about episodes 5 and 6, I think coming into this show and knowing that this show was all about disguises and heists and whatnot, I thought those would be the highs of the series. But it actually has turned out that it seems like for both of us, the episodes with the heist and the action are actually the less interesting ones, and the stuff that happens between heists have been way more interesting and engaging to us.
I mean, I don't hate the heist and those kind of more action. Like, I love the fight sequences. They're great.
And the confrontation.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I love angst. I love some drama. But episode 5 had its moments, but episode 6, I think, just knocks it out of the park.
Hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
We waited 6 episodes for this.
It's coming together. Thanks for tuning in to Two Girls and One BL podcast. If you enjoyed our discussion, don't forget to subscribe to us and leave us a comment.
We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so follow us on socials, YouTube and Spotify at Two Girls One BL podcast. See you next time. Bye. Dun ding.